Hello. In this video, I'm going to go over my own experience working in the governance, risk, and compliance side within cybersecurity, and also going over the technical side of cybersecurity and kind of some pros and cons of each one of them. Hopefully, by the end of the video, you'll have a much better idea of what direction that you want to go in. I have the unique experience of having 10 years of experience within cybersecurity and IT. And I've worked a lot of different domains. Mostly I've worked in the technical side, but more recently I've worked in governance, risk, and compliance. Let's get started with the GRC side. The roles that I have done within GRC is I've been a security auditor, so I've gone through checklists and then verified that system that I was looking at. This was a Windows server, matched that checklist. Currently, I'm a system security officer, so I make sure that the controls that are implemented on a network and system are in accordance with the regulations of both the business and also the law. I bet you are wondering, do I like governance, risk, and compliance versus the technical side? So GRC in cybersecurity is very, very boring, to be honest. Anyone who tells you that governance, risk, and compliance isn't boring is trying to probably sell you a GRC course. And if someone had come up to me at work and said about how much that they loved GRC and how passionate they were about it, I would probably think there was something wrong with them. Now, is being absolutely boring a bad thing? The answer is no. And I'm going to go over some reasons why I'm actually preferring GRC at this point in my life as over 30 and an old woman. One of the reasons that I'm really enjoying governance, risk, and compliance within the cybersecurity field right now is that I'm not constantly troubleshooting. So the troubleshooting just burnt me out, and it was just problem after problem. And then if you say change something because you need to, because of security, that can break a lot of things. And then you have to document about all of the things you did and why you can't fix it. And then you go to management, and it's just a big thing. Whereas in governance, risk, and compliance, it's more based on strategy, depending on your job, than it is just implementing solutions and being in the technical weeds solving problems. So it's a little bit easier on the mind, and it requires a lot less problem solving, which goes into my next reason that I'm really liking it, is that governance, risk, and compliance is not stressful. When I was working a technical role, I was always stressed and had tons of anxiety because when you break something, it causes a lot of problems. Or if you don't tune a false positive, you could block traffic. And if you're going through logs, you could miss, say, a threat or something like that. And it was just a lot of stress, and I had a lot of anxiety. One of the roles that I had was remediating vulnerabilities, and that role caused me jaw pain because it was just very stressful and high visibility. It just was not fun. Now, the next reason that I'm really enjoying governance, risk, and compliance over the technical side at this point in my life in cybersecurity career is the fact that it pays more. I actually get paid more now than I ever did in a technical role, even a lead technical role. So there is that. That's also just depends on the company, and also my negotiation skills improved a lot. The thing with moving up in the technical field is you do have to have a really love and passion for it, because it will constantly change and you'll have to update yourself a lot. Whereas with GRC, I just go to work. I work 40 hours, I leave. I don't think about it after I leave. I'm not stressed about it. I don't have any anxiety about leaving, which is amazing. Another reason that I really like it is, depending on the role, again, within cybersecurity, big field, GRC has the tendency to look at the big picture, whereas in a technical role, you're just in the weeds, just in a field somewhere, not knowing what is going on at the rest of the world, the rest of the organization doing who knows what. With GRC, you can get the whole picture of something. I actually prefer it. I have that broad knowledge. For me to transition from the technical side to GRC is actually really easy. I work with a lot of technical people, so I understand what they're trying to say. So that being said, I do miss the technical field for a few reasons. The first one is that it is more interesting and challenging. When you're solving problems, time goes by a lot faster. Whereas when you are working with, say, something that is paperwork based, time goes by extremely slowly and it's not as rewarding or fun as the technical side. If you enjoy solving problems and having interesting work, the technical side is kind of fun. The next thing is you get instant feedback on the technical side, whereas in governance, risk, and compliance, you don't really get any feedback, maybe for years, because maybe you make a wrong decision somewhere and then it comes back. When you work in the technical side, it's really obvious if you made a wrong decision really quickly because number one, there are errors, and then you can overcome them and then solve the problem, and then you have something to show for it, and it's a little bit rewarding. There's none of that with GRC, which kind of adds to the boringness of the job. Overall, it really just depends on where you are in life for what field that you go into, GRC or technical field. I would say it's a lot easier to move into GRC if you are already in a technical field. If you just start out in GRC and you don't have any technical background, it's really hard to go to a technical role. So keep that in mind. Getting experience in the technical field first and then moving to GRC, you'll be like light years ahead of your coworkers if you have that technical background. I hear a lot about GRC and there's so many jobs in GRC and upcoming, and GRC is like, the thing is, I don't know where this hype is coming from, to be honest. GRC has been around. It's the backbone. I would say with AI, there's still going to be technical roles. It's not getting rid of the technical roles. It just may change it a little bit, but that has been happening for the last 30 years. Technical roles change over time, and you just have to adapt and learn to these roles. I would say cloud-based systems are maybe the highest growing, and then maybe AI cybersecurity now. Which one is easier to break into within cybersecurity, GRC or technical field? Honestly, it just depends on where you're at. It just depends on which one you like more too. If you want to do a technical role, you do have to know technical lingo. And if you want to do a governance, risk, and compliance role, you have to know the regulations and the controls that your specific industry implements, and then why behind each one of those. If you're already working in a specific industry, such as a nurse, you already understand the regulations and requirements of, say, the healthcare industry. If you work as a mortgage industry lender, or something like that, then you already understand finance and risk and compliance and how that relates to your company or your industry. And really all you're missing is that you have a good framework of what exactly GRC is. So you just need to gain those security terms to really transition. You're only missing a few skills. Whereas if you have absolutely no experience, no degrees, certifications, or certs, it might be a little bit hard to break into GRC because the people hiring are extremely risk adverse, meaning hiring someone with no experience or credentials is a risk to the company and the hiring manager that is hiring you. And especially because usually these positions are at bureaucratic organizations, they tend to be a little bit risk adverse. Not saying you need a degree, experience, or any of that, but it would help you out a lot to get something. If you are wanting to change and upskill into cybersecurity, I do have a free masterclass below that teaches you the new way of landing a role and becoming the obvious expert within cybersecurity and GRC. So go ahead and check that out below. Let me know if you have any questions below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.